When conflict turns fatal, everyone rushes to judgment. But before we can argue about sides, we have to ask a deeper question. What are we teaching our boys about anger, about pride, about walking away? Tonight isn't about defending violence, it's about examining the emotional tools that we give our young Black boys and Black men and whether or not they're enough.
I don't even know if you think this, but I personally keep it like an every other day thing for me because I like to keep sex like in a rhythm. I know I don't want to go more than like 2 days without sex. Me personally, in my mind, I just keep it that like I know that if I didn't have sex yesterday, if we didn't do that yesterday, well, then I know today, okay, let me start to get ready. But then even like, let's say
Right.
something happens and we don't do it today, I know the next day it's like, okay, just in my mind, I'm just keeping track, just little in my mind
Yeah.
that like by the third day, okay, we have to really make time to do this.
I think that's very good, and I think you just blew somebody's wig off their head.
Saying that is not for everyone, but for me, it's
Well,
real easy
teach
for me
us.
to know. Okay, did I
Fry us
have
with your
sex
eggs.
yesterday? No, I didn't. Okay,
Yeah,
let me go. Let me make sure
yeah.
I do this
Okay,
today.
listen. So they define a sexless marriage as having sex less than 10 times a year.
I
That
know
would be
that
about
blows
one
my
time.
mind.
Okay. Now, there's some people that's like 12, they do it once a month or once every other week. And your answer is good. It's politically correct. Oh, we don't know. And it's true, every couple has to determine their own sex rhythms. But I feel like if you're not having sex at least once a week, you
Mhm.
really need to talk about it. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And so if I was to give you like straight up, we're sitting at Starbucks and I'm not going to be judged and stuff like that, I would tell you, you ask your spouse, how often would you like to have
Mhm.
sex? Okay, you get a number from them. If they say every day, every other day, and then I said once a week, okay, what I would do is I would try to submit to the person who's wants to do it the most, or at least talk about meeting it halfway.
Mhm.
Okay. So if I'm at 7 days and you're at every other day, I would say, sweetheart, well, how's every 3 or 4 days? But these big gaps between you want to do it once a month and you want to do it it's killing people's marriages because they
Right.
haven't submitted to not deprive each other. And when we say it's not a duty, this is what I got to do. This is what we get to do. You got to come to the place where you
But
enjoy
I
this
don't get it,
moment.
babe, because
Uh-huh.
listen, if you said,
Uh-huh.
if you said, okay, how often do you want to eat chocolate cake? Let's say chocolate cake is like the best dessert. Just
It's not
pick it.
bad for you. Yeah, it's
Chocolate
cool.
cake,
Yeah,
apple pie,
whatever it
like
is.
whatever. How often do you want to eat
Mhm.
that?
I want to eat it 3 times a day.
I do. I
Yeah.
mean, like
Breakfast,
seriously,
lunch.
seriously.
It's great.
So
It's
I
wonderful.
don't get the correlation between
Well,
you,
people are having bad sex.
the
They don't know.
greatest pleasure
Mhm.
known to mankind,
Uh-huh.
the greatest physical pleasure
Yes.
known to man. There are industries
Yes.
and billions
Billions
of
of dollars
dollars
of
being
people
made on the
exploiting
greatest
this
pleasure.
this pleasure.
A lot of evil being done for
Y'all please
this.
help us out because we don't understand. Please put it in the
Why
comments. We
would
don't understand.
you
We're
want,
trying.
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Why would you want?
And I'm challenging myself as well
Yeah.
because look, I mean, why don't we
We're
want to do it
tired.
3 times a day? You know what I mean? Like we eat
Well,
three
we
times a
just
day.
finished the 7 day sex
We
explosion.
took the seven
We
day
took the 7 day
challenge.
challenge. That's sex every day for 7 days. We challenge you to do that. Yes, I was tired by day 4 and 5 and 6, but I pushed through. Praise God.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
it helps challenge your
It helps
thinking and
challenge
it
and from.
helps you like, you know,
Mm,
I don't know. I just think
yes.
that's my question.
Yeah. Anyway, here's another question. Um, if someone says my libido has changed, what should I do? What would
Mhm.
be your answer?
I would say get it checked out physically, medically by a doctor. Make sure everything's okay in your body. I mean, health is the number one thing that can probably just make your sex life go really down the hill. But just make sure that you're okay and health wise, and then um, find out what you need to do to get it back up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes I go to the doctor, and sometimes they've been like, "Okay, well, your thyroid's low,
Mhm.
or you need more progesterone,
Which means that
or
you're just hormonal.
yeah,
Your hormones are
your
not
hormone
balanced.
because
Yeah.
as we grow older and things like that, stuff changes. When we have babies, things change. So
Right.
that's normal, but figure it out.
Figure it out.
Just figure it out. Trial and error.
Hmm.
Ask people.
Has your libido changed over the years?
Definitely,
Okay.
definitely. It's been up and down through having babies,
Uh-huh.
and then also through menopause. I mean, yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
So right now, in comparison to what it's been, you would say it's low, average, or high?
I would say it's lower now than it's ever been.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, through coming through menopause, definitely.
And so when it comes to sex, like
Mhm.
let's say last night.
Mm.
It's something that you're like, even though you have a low libido, you're pushing through. What would be your advice to the woman that's like, listen, I got low libido, but somehow we still have a rhythm, even though it's
Yeah,
the worst that it's ever been. Talk to me.
it's like, I don't know. I guess I understand what sex means to me and to my marriage. It's very important to me. It's like very high. I mean, it's very important to me.
Mhm.
And so it doesn't matter like if I guess I don't have to be in the mood. I don't have to be like 100% on fire and like, yay, I want to do this. I just have to be like a little bit like,
So
hey,
can I ask you a question?
uh-huh.
So if you have low libido and maybe you're not in the mood
hmm
completely, but when you start having sex, do you get more in the mood?
Totally.
Okay. So you don't give me the sloppy fish, like, where it's just like, it's a floppy fish body. It
Yeah.
feels like you're in the mood,
Yeah.
but you're doing that by faith. You're intentional. And as you go by faith, God is giving you more on your way than
hmm
before you start. Well, some woman needs to hear that. Men need
Yeah.
to
I
hear
mean,
that.
it's always, it
Yeah.
turns out, I mean, again, it's like the
Right.
piece of chocolate cake. I'm not hungry at all, but you just sat down next to me with a piece of cake. I just take a little bite of it. I'm not really that hungry, but let me take a bite. It's good. You eat it.
That cake gone. I'm
It's
turning that whole
fun.
cake.
I
I'm
mean,
rocking that cake's world.
that's what happens every single time. I mean, I just don't have another way to explain it.
Someone says, I have vaginal dryness. What should I do?
Uh-huh.
What would you
Um,
answer?
Figure it out.
Figure it
Not
out.
I agree. I
Fuck.
totally
No,
understand where
no.
you're coming from. I have it too. I'm a woman, and at some point in every woman's life, you're going to get it.
Yeah.
And so figure out different lubricants. I use 100% extra virgin coconut oil. It works for me.
They say,
You'll find
okay, coconut oil.
you'll find, whatever works for you, but ask people who you trust. Ask your girlfriends, ask your
Thought she was
mom,
gonna say
what works for you.
olive
Maybe the
oil.
same thing will work for me.
Right.
These
It's
are,
gonna
some people
bless
go,
that fat.
that's not, I mean, it's
That's what the Greeks used.
this is
Yeah.
grown up stuff.
It's grown up stuff.
But anyway, just figure it out. There's a solution.
What about this question? I'm not attracted to him anymore. What should I do?
Make yourself attracted to him again.
Talk to me about that. Can I do that? I mean, he gained weight.
Mhm.
He ashy.
Mhm.
His breath is not right. I mean, what do you do here? What do you mean not attracted? Okay, let's not say that. Okay, because guys, let me talk to you men for a minute. You
Tell
need to
'em,
take care of your
baby.
body. Okay, you need listen.
Tell him to go
You gotta
get a
take care of
mani
your body.
pedi.
Go get your manicure, pedicure. Put some lotion on. Okay, smell good. Okay, make sure your breath is fresh too. That's a big thing. You got to make sure your breath is fresh. Get some
Yeah.
breath strips. Get some mints. Get some Banaka. Get whatever you got to get. I mean, like set the mood here. But I really believe that, man, you need to take care of yourself, okay? And be presentable. Don't have oil all under your nails and all that kind of stuff. I mean, take care of yourself. You ain't got to be like, you don't have to go and spend hundreds of dollars and, get highlights and do all kinds of stuff. But you need to take care of yourself. But anyway, but let's just assume it's not that.
Okay.
It's just
Yeah.
I'm just not attracted to him
Mhm.
like that anymore. What should I do?
I think that, I've found for myself and for a lot of other women, attraction just comes, it's more of a mental thing with us and an emotional thing with us. And so typically, more than likely, he's still the same guy. He might have gained a little weight or lost a little weight or whatever, but he's still the same guy that you married. What attracted you to him in the first place,
Right.
And so I think those are some of the things that I practice even now. Like, they are intentional things. Like, I don't know, in your mind, complimenting him. Like, oh, I mean, take the time to like look at him. Take the time to enjoy what he looks like. Check out his body. Take the time to listen to his voice. Like, I will listen to my husband's voice. Like, wow, you're such a man. Like, whoa, you're so manly. I look at like his beard and stuff. Like, I'm like, whoa, that's like a manly man. Those things make me attracted to him. So I don't know. I can't say, what attracts you to your spouse, but think about those
Yeah.
things that made you attracted to him in the first
Well,
place.
that's the key. Something attracted you to this person for you to say, I do.
Yeah.
Now, you might need some counseling to figure out where your mind has now become critical.
Well, sometimes we overlook the
compare it.
things that we like into the things that we don't like, and we magnify the things that we don't
They
like.
overrun all those things.
When we first got married, we magnified the things that we did like and minimized the things that we didn't like. And we just have to reverse that again.
Here's one more. What should I do when I'm not in the mood, but my spouse is?
I would say, for me personally, just do it anyway. I'd say do it anyway. There's a lot of times when I'm not in the mood. Now, again, I'm not saying like, okay, it's that time of the month for you, or you just got out of surgery, or you're all contagious and coughing and sneezing. And
Yeah,
I'm
ain't
not
nobody an
saying
idiot.
all
Yeah,
of that stuff.
nobody's an
Okay.
idiot.
I'm just saying it's a normal day and
Right.
you don't feel like it, but
Right.
they do.
Right.
Just do it anyway.
Okay.
It's going to be, what's the worst case is you like it. I mean, like, it's like,
Oh.
you know,
Well, the worst case is that they like it,
Yeah.
but you might like it. But I would say this. Here's the principle that I think we've lived by is that it only takes one person to be in the mood for us to
Yeah.
have sex.
Yeah.
And I think that's where many people are missing it because they feel like they need to be in the mood.
Yeah.
And for both people to be in the mood, you got to go to Netflix and watch a movie because much of that is acting.
Yeah.
Because most of the time in the marriage, like we've been married 25
Yep.
years, it's like two ships passing in the night.
Mhm.
For us both to be in the mood at the same time, it has to be like an anniversary. It has to be something. Typically, it's one of us instigating and the other one saying, okay, that's what you want, but I'm going to get in the mood as
Yep.
well. But I never deny you. If you want some, here I am. And you always treat me that way. If I want some, there's no denying. Now, I'm not a fool. I know that if you're coughing and don't feel good, if you had a long day, I might say
Right.
it and I can tell by the way, okay, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, here's the principle. Only one person needs to be in the mood for sex to happen in a
Exactly.
marriage.
And I think going back to the scripture, that's what the Bible is talking about when the husband should not deny the wife and the wife should not deny the husband. What that means is that wife is in the mood, husband, don't deny her.
Yeah.
That's just what it's talking about. And so I think, yeah, that's like a great deception, I think, when it comes to sex, that you have to be in the mood to want to do. Well, I don't feel like it. I have a headache. And largely on the part of a woman.
Yeah.
It's what we've been trained. Everyone has seen the movies where the woman's sitting there reading and then the husband comes on and she turns off the light and rolls over. You know what I mean? Like faking like she's asleep or faking like she has a headache.
But why not?
I mean, it's just been like embedded in our brains.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
You don't
like,
know what this life is to live, man.
it's just.
I-
But the funny thing is that, so that's how we portray the married couple. But the people that aren't married,
Oh,
their clothes are off by the time they hit the door. I mean,
having
they
an
just.
orgasm walks to the bed. like, what is this? Like,
So
this-
we have been brainwashed.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's really
like the wife
it
is
is
the
an
ball and
attack
chain. I
on
gotta go home to
marriages.
my ball and
Yes,
chain.
please don't ever call me your old
And
lady.
she's
I
sitting
will
around in the
never be
flannel.
your old lady.
Like,
Okay? I am your wife. Fearfully and wonderfully made.
here's the
Yeah,
deal.
he
Here's
said
the
that
deal.
before.
So
Mhm.
to be in the mood to spark this
That's right.
thing, and you gotta accept that. So you're not in the mood. So what? So what? Let's get there. Okay. Here's the second principle that I would add to that is that if you ever reject your spouse, I don't want to do it tonight. Within 24 hours, you need to initiate it.
I like that.
Your rejection has to turn into an initiation.
Okay.
Listen to this. Because if not, if you reject your spouse, in which we don't believe in, but let's say that it's something and you did it, okay, you rejected it, okay. Or let's say that it wasn't really a rejection. It was like they were kind of playing around and you was like, nah, and they kind of backed up. Like we'll do that.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, I really want to. It's like, oh, I can just tell.
Yeah.
It's your job within 24 hours to initiate it because you got to understand that was rejection. That person has been sexually rejected. Do you know the boldness that it would take for me to come back again? Like you said, no tonight. Well, why I want to come back in 12 hours and be like, hey, is it good now?
Yeah.
No, it's not my responsibility. If you've said no, when that person was ready to initiate sex between a husband and a wife, within 24 hours, you should come back and say, okay, sweetheart,
I
let's
like that.
let's do that. That principle right there will save so much heartache.
Really, I think we've both been there in marriage over the years where you've been rejected 1, 2, 3 times in a row.
I'm done.
And then we're in a family meeting and I'm just like, what's wrong with you? You know what I mean? Because it hurts. And I've been there too, where I've been rejected like, oh, snap, you know. And now I'm feeling maybe I'm not attracted. Maybe you don't like me. Maybe you're something. And none of that's true. It's just whatever's going on in your life is going on in your life. There's no communication or whatever.
Right.
But I love that principle. It's just like we have to remember that even if you've been married for 100 years, your spouse is still a person. They're still a human being.
Yeah.
And sex is the most intimate thing that we do together. It's the most vulnerable thing that we do together. And we're still people and want to be treated nicely. No one wants to be rejected.
Listen, if you are a man and you have an erection and you're horny and you want to be with your wife and she says no, you are sitting over there like a puppy with your tail between your legs, feeling like you just got hit by a bat,
I
trying to calm
personally
yourself
hate to
down.
think that
10,
my
9, 8,
my husband would feel
7,
that
6.
way.
This is horrible.
Yeah, I
It's
know. I
horrible.
know, baby.
It's not. So, and let me take you to another level. Um, Initiating sex should be a husband and a wife thing.
Yes.
It should not be the man's always initiating sex, and it should not be the wife is always initiating sex. It should be a lot more balanced. I'm not saying like it always has to be 50-50, but initiating sex should be a two-way street, that sometimes you initiate, sometimes I initiate. And one of the things that is a very common thread that I hear with many men is that they feel like they're the only ones
Yeah.
always initiating, and it shouldn't be.
Yeah, I agree. I learned that too, just through maybe doing podcasts and doing marriage counseling through all of the years.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've heard that, and because I've heard it from you first, and we
Yeah.
would talk about it in family meetings. But then other men, when we have question and answer time, someone, no doubt, is going to grab the microphone and ask that question.
Yeah.
That question is going
Why
to
do
be
I
asked.
always
Why do I always have to
initiate
initiate?
sex? And the other man be like,
Crowd goes wild.
oh man.
But it's easy, for wives to initiate. For me, I think I just get used to you kind of like, coming around, and I like it. And so it's nothing, no offense to you, but it's just like, I like it. So whatever. But I have made it a point to initiate, there's certain times and things that I plan, maybe like a Valentine's Day or a Ken's night or or just something
All right. So that's about where I wanted to stop.
Okay.
that
And then
I
just
just try to
kinda
just plan little things here.
begin our discussion. Um, what are your initial thoughts about what we just watched?
Well, brother man like to have it all the time. And I'm getting
I
old.
hear that.
No,
Right.
it's the 2 days are not alike like a snowflake. It's not always gonna happen. It's gonna be some hit and misses, most definitely, especially when you both are working. You just never know how the other's work day was. You got full intention to actually engage with one another, and before you know it, you just sit down for longer than 5 minutes and you out. So that does happen. It's something totally different when you guys are like I agree with them in a month's time. If you're doing it once a month,
Right.
some ain't right. Sometimes I'm cool with that, dude. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because we are trying to have a baby. Okay. And that's a lot. So sometimes I'm like, okay, just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. You know.
No, you don't get a minute when you
I
trying
know
to
I
have a
don't get a
baby.
minute. I
Yeah,
know I
you
don't.
you
I know
don't
I
get a
don't.
minute.
So I rise to the occasion, pun intended, but still, sometimes I'm like, I'm gonna be real. Sometimes that take the sexy out of it. It just feels so
Forced.
mechanical. So yeah. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
the eye opener. And so, yeah, I don't always want to do it because it's just like bebop boop, And so
So
I'm
that
going to
that
break.
that leads me into a question then. What do you think planned sex decreases the sexiness or attractiveness of it?
I feel like it does. I agree. I like the spontaneity of it. And I always tell her, I do love it, but I'll be tired. But I always tell her, like, if you want some, just take it. Just get it. I don't need to wine and dine and just grab it and show me. Right? What you want. And I'm with it, Cause that's what that's what we would do, I would say it depends, with the planning, if you're making it fun. Right. If you're gonna do it to where maybe you got a hotel downtown or something like that, just out of spur of the moment. Tell her to show up. I watch a lot of movies, and you play the games with, hey, you're not such and such today. You are Mary Jane, and I'm gonna be Billy D. Williams or something. And we gonna meet down here like we just meet for the first time. Oh yeah, it works every time.
Yeah, I'm with all of that. I'm definitely with all of that.
But
Yeah,
little
see,
things like that could probably spruce it up.
Yeah.
yeah, that's some good stuff. I think that, I was just listening to what you all was saying and about the if it's planned or not, right? Well,
Mhm.
been in situations where let's say we are about to go out and we're gonna go to a show. It's in Nashville, it's in the city, and we don't want to come back home, so we get a hotel room there, right?
Mhm.
Guys, that's a silent agreement.
Yeah.
Silent agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's a silent agreement. We know, I know, she know
Right.
what's going down,
Right.
but we don't say anything. We just know. And so
Mhm.
we'll just make the night of it. We'll say, hey, we're gonna do this and we're gonna have fun at the show, and then we're gonna go to a nice restaurant and
Mhm.
then we're gonna
Planning a
come
night
back.
of intimacy
Yeah.
versus planning sex.
Right.
And
Right.
Yeah.
that's the
Right.
difference from what you're saying
The whole
versus
buildup.
other things is,
Right.
yeah, you're planning a
Agreed.
night of intimacy. The
Mhm.
sex is understood, it's
Agreed.
implied, and so you're
Mhm.
not necessarily planning sex. So that's a good way to
Right.
do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that when you have it that way, I think because two things can be true at the same time. Like, Jason said, you don't want to feel like a robot. But then
Mhm.
again, I'm like this. Listen, hey, I'm from school of thought of, listen, if you just want to, hey, I'm always
Yeah.
ready.
Right.
You ain't
Right.
got
Right.
it don't take much for me to
Right.
to get
Right.
going. You know what I mean? So
But that's that's spontaneity though. You know what I'm
right,
saying? That's
right.
not like at 3:45, we're going to do the,
No, that's
like it's yeah. That's
I
not
don't
straight.
like I'm not a fan
You
I
know,
am not a fan of pre-planned sex. I'm not a fan of,
right.
okay, we're gonna have sex on Tuesday or we're gonna
Mhm.
have sex. I don't
Mhm.
like that.
I don't like it
That
either. Right.
completely removes
Mhm.
the sexiness and the fun out of it, because
Mhm.
then
Right.
it's like it's on my schedule. So
It's
now
a
it's a part of
job.
my schedule. It's
Yeah.
something
Right.
that
It
I
feels like a
have to
job.
do.
So
Yeah, it
Mhm.
feels like a job. It feels more like an obligation versus
Mhm.
something that it should be
Mhm.
enjoyed.
I
Mhm.
gotta ask you this though,
Yes, sir.
and Mike, you got the empty nesters now, right? That changes things. And I know you've been there already, Mike, but me and Anthony still got our kid is living in the house. That
You got to be
changes things as
quiet.
well. Oh, so quiet. They
Yeah.
barely speak.
Yeah.
You're gonna learn today. No.
They do. It's so bad that if we playing something where they having sex on there and it's loud enough, I'm like, see, we playing it on the TV. They might as well hear
Mhm.
us.
Right. Right. Right.
But not really. It's awkward.
Yeah.
It's very weird, especially with the age of my children.
Mhm.
Last thing you want them to be hearing, but at the same time, how you think you got it?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
What's
getting
true
that.
is
So you
that
can
that
stop.
is that is a rough thing. I just thought about that when they're at that age, like your kids, even though they're kind of grown, it makes you feel funny to know that your children are hearing you in your mother house, in
Bruh,
their mother house.
my son will come knocking at the door at awkward times while we're in the
What y'all
mix.
do? What y'all do?
Nah, it'd be something simple like, you gonna eat? And we ate like 2 hours ago.
Like, I'm eating right now, boy.
It's just, it's, yeah, you interrupting a meal.
Right.
But nah, it's that awkward. Oh, you hear somebody coming
Yeah.
down the stairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
do you all wait
Yeah.
till they well, I think you already said that, but do you all wait till they go to sleep? And I mean they good and sleep?
Ain't
Or
no,
I'll be
ain't
sleep
no
then.
telling when they gonna go to sleep. They
Mhm.
are spontaneous.
yeah.
Mhm.
When one go down, the other one pick up the next shift.
Right.
That's funny. That's funny. I think that
Right.
I do understand where you're coming from because I mean personally I can say that um when we did have the kids primarily in the house, and we're going through all of those things. Yeah, Now, they won't say it, but I'm sure my son and my daughter, they
They
could
know what's up.
probably talk to y'all better than me about, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? We know what y'all were doing, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
But they just keep it to themselves. Probably amongst themselves, they're
Mhm.
talking them and their cousins or whatever, you know.
Mhm.
Never said anything. Honestly, we just was like, hey, you know, we gonna close the door, we gonna lock it, whatever. But I think our kids never really did that. Like come in, you know, like I think how you said, come in the door, knock in the door, you know, make sure that the door is
Right.
because they gonna come right in. Wow,
Right.
wow.
Right.
But but you know what? You know what? Hey, they
Right.
and look, it's a natural thing. Yes, you don't want them to find
Right.
out like that, but you know what? After that, hey, it is what it is. But
You came in here. Now,
right,
now,
right. You the
now.
one who
Hey,
come in here.
hey,
But you should have kept your butt in the bed.
Right,
Just
right.
things that you
What is
don't want to
Al
see.
Green? Right.
Yeah.
When you hear Al Green, don't you come near this door.
Likewise.
So I'm gonna get off my mama.
Yeah. Yeah. But now being that we're, you know, us, it's just us and like our kids are grown. I mean, it's almost like we're starting over again. It's almost like we are that young couple again. We can do all those things that we want to do again. So there is a time coming. You just have to go through the fog right now. You know, you're a ship right now. You just go through the waves right now, but eventually you're gonna come up on the dock, yo. And when it does,
I
you're
need
gonna
to put
love
some.
it.
So, question for you guys. Well, we already know how important sex is in a marriage, but does intimacy change meaning after several years of marriage? Does intimacy change?
I think so. I mean, I'm not necessarily there yet, but um, my wisdom has shown, like I'm pretty sure my parents ain't still, well, they might be. I don't know. I don't live there. Right.
Hey, bro, don't underestimate it,
I-
bro.
right.
Exactly.
Right. I have, hey, after 70, go.
He be that daddy on boomerang, bang, bang, bang.
Right. But it does, I mean, I would imagine that, it takes a different spin, because you got time, you got history, you know what I'm saying? Y'all done raise kids and then all the, like it ain't necessarily the same as it was when you guys were youthful, but I think it's deeper and stronger. And it has in turn shifted to mean something else. If I'm reading what your question was
So
correctly.
you
But
feel like it becomes less physical and more emotional.
definitely, I think it can be both, but I think that, yeah, definitely emotions get stronger and it has, more a different meaning than first starting out.
I think as far as my take on that, I think that it does transition because when you're beginning, right at the beginning of the relationship, it obviously is a lot more physical, right? But I believe as the relationship develops and go on, and as you get older, I think, and I believe, and I'm just speaking from the experience where I'm coming from, is that you actually start to really appreciate the whole person. I'm not saying that you never did in the beginning, but you start to see more and you start to appreciate more of who that person is.
Right.
Everything about them, their personality, who they are, they're a great mom for the kids, all of those things. And then you start seeing the other things, that they aren't sexual, but there's a true care and a true love for that person. You are now, it's not all about you anymore. You're actually serving them. It's like, oh man, okay, well, what can I do for you? What can I do? So I think that as we get older, and I'm just thinking about my parents and my grandparents and just thinking about where I'm at and then some of the OGs that I've seen back in the day, I think that whenever I used to see them, their relationship when they were together, they still had that youthful exuberance about them, and they were playful still, and they were doing
Mhm.
all the things, but they just did more because now, when you're younger, you didn't have the resources to do some of the things, but
Right.
now you can do more. Now that love or that intimacy that you're talking about, Anthony, I think is, well, now we're gonna go and we're gonna go on a nice cruise. We're just gonna hang
Mhm.
out, and it's mostly sometimes just the conversation, just the
Mhm.
conversation, you know,
Mhm.
Mm.
and you fall even more in love with that person.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
kind of my take on that.
That's basically what I said. You just said it way, way better.
Oh
No.
my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
But yeah, you're right.
Right.
But what both of
Yeah.
you all said is absolutely correct. Um, one example of it is, or at least for me, it was when we had our first kid, and
Mhm.
when my wife had when we had our first child, and even when our second child, just watching her be a mother, her becoming her switch from being just a woman to being a mother and who she is now, it made me even more in love with her. It made me even more passionate about her because of the way and so it wasn't a sexual thing. It was something that she was and something that she is that made me feel more attracted to her even more.
Prowess.
Yeah.
But no, I agree with you guys. I've seen no different occasions with my parents, the little things that they do with each other, the little jokes they play and all that stuff or whatever. But I even caught my father telling my mother, "We gonna court tonight."
Like court.
He must have had the egg. We gonna court tonight.
Uh-huh. I like it. I like
But
it.
it was cute. You know what I mean? To see that
Mhm.
your parents still have that for each other or whatever.
Mhm.
I can agree more. It's the more that you grow with each other, hopefully she's seeing the same thing in you that's outside of the physical. It's
Mhm.
more on a spiritual note, if you will.
Mhm.
I really, that's one of my things too. You guys got to be spiritually connected. Um, that's the only way to me it works. I'm naturally drawn, and I don't think coincidence just happens when you meet your person.
Mhm.
Um, especially when you up against some ridiculous odds. I met my wife working at my church. By chance, walked out there at a certain point in time. I'm not even the one that first was like, "Oh, who is that?" My
Mhm.
God did. Saw her, went over towards her, and like two Rottweilers ran out at us. I had to hop over this like 6-foot fence.
Right.
Me and the other two, my brother Chris and my boy Dietrich, had to jump over the fence.
Mhm.
She came and gathered the dogs, went over there, improbable. Like if I was a punk, I would have just walked away
Mhm.
because them Rottweilers.
Right.
Um, I don't know. And that day I met my person and didn't even know that's your
Mhm.
person.
Mhm.
Wow.
So, can a marriage be strong without an active sex life? Can a marriage be strong without an active sex life?
I
I,
think
I think so.
I think for
And
I don't know about that.
Hell no.
I think, okay, what about the marriage where, somebody's on disability or whatever and it don't work no more? Or,
Did it
you know,
start that way or did it
no,
end up that way?
no, I'm not, but I'm just saying you can't, let's just say it ended up that way.
Okay.
And now they don't have their facilities, but the guy or the girl or whatever, you got to take care of them and stuff. You still love them. You still want to, you know, that's still your person. You don't just throw them out because of, you don't have, you're not having the sex,
Yeah.
so
You still got
I
urges
feel,
though.
huh? Yeah. I
You
mean,
got
maybe
you
you
still
take
got
care of it.
urges.
Maybe you take care of it yourself. I don't know. I'm not there. Lord, God forbid we never be there. But I'm just thinking to those couples, or, you're just older and, you got all that history. No, y'all not having sex, but you got, sometimes I've seen couples, they just don't, they just happy to be in each other's company. Now, I'm not in
I would
their
hope that
household
that's what it
all the
is.
time, but I still, to those couples, they still together, they, and I don't know if they're stepping out. I don't know all the history, but I'm saying it's possible,
Right.
absolutely.
It's
I
possible to
know.
have. I think it's possible to have a marriage, but a strong, for it to be strong. I, my concern is that when you're not having sex, you create cracks in your foundation,
Okay.
places for other things to get through, whether it be pornography or whether
Mhm.
it be another person. There's
Mhm.
there's a desire there that is not being met. And so regardless of the reason why it's not being met, the need is still not being met. And
Okay.
it has to be fulfilled some way. Like in the example that you talked about, is there another way that they can please the other person sexually? If their legs or bottom half isn't working, top half is working, you figure out another way to,
Well,
make it
I
so. Yeah.
personally know a couple that got married, and this
Mhm.
is well after she was paralyzed from the waist down.
Mm.
I always wondered how that worked, but that ain't necessarily something you just go ask somebody.
Right. Right. Right.
Yeah.
I can,
So
yeah, I can definitely see both sides. I mean, I can see where you're talking about there, Jason. I really can, because
Mm.
as you're giving that example, I was thinking, yeah, there could. I think I was watching a movie, and I think it was, one of those Terminator movies.
Mm.
I think Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, he was the Terminator. Well,
Mm.
he got a new mission, and it was just to be the mate
Protector.
to, or
Oh.
like husband to, this lady, and
Mm.
it was not sexual or anything. I forget which Terminator it is. I'm gonna have to send it to you, but it was
Mm.
just his form as a robot. He just was different. He was there as like a mate, like as a husband. And it was
Mhm.
just, and he just said it. It was just for companionship, you know?
yeah, I
Mhm.
know what you're
Oh,
talking about.
you think
I've
I know what I'm
seen
talking about?
that.
But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I was like, whoa, that's like a little different. But that was to your point. That
Mhm.
was that was actually to your point. So yeah, I can see it, but I think kind of like what Anthony said, if other things are working,
Right.
let's try to figure it out. Let's not just let it go,
Mhm.
because I think that it can still go on. I think things
Oh,
can,
you got to give it a try.
yeah,
Right.
give it a
Got
try.
to give it a try.
That person will have those urges, both people, even though
Mhm.
maybe
Yeah.
the equipment isn't working, the urges and the hormones are still there. It's just
Mhm.
the equipment is not working, you know?
Right.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, so
I'm like, is it there? If it ain't working, I'm
I
just,
don't know. I don't know.
It depends
That's,
on which
that's,
one it is.
and
all
yeah,
right.
now if it's the
That's what
guy,
I'm saying.
now if it's the guy, now, what I'm saying, you might be in trouble, because
Right.
we've seen that happen back in those medieval times, when they used to
Mhm.
castrate the guys. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he
Oh
better he
yeah.
better
And
Yeah.
he better put a
So,
yeah.
strap on and
mhm,
please her the way he
yeah.
needs to please her, and
Right.
he gonna figure out his own thing. But he
Yeah.
better please
Mhm.
her, because since he
Mhm.
don't have the equipment, he better make some equipment. They
But
got plenty
no,
of things out here that you can use now.
but no, and he
I'm
castrated, he don't
yeah.
have the
He
desire.
don't have the nerves. He
Because
don't
Right,
have the
right.
nerve
Like
because
endings.
the
nerves, all
testosterone
the
is
stuff.
not
Yeah.
even there. His voice even gets higher. He doesn't
Mhm.
grow like like literally, like if you
Mhm.
watch like some of these movies with Game of
Mhm.
Thrones and all of these
Game of
movies.
Mhm.
Thrones, they
Yeah.
had,
Yeah.
no, they had a whole, what was the, like the
Right.
general, the army, or the head, or whatever they armed
Yeah.
forces was. And they're
Yeah.
known to not to take a vow to not have sex.
Unsullied.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I
Unsullied.
mean, we know that that does happen, but the females, oh yeah, they gonna want to. We just talked about how when she's
Mhm.
40,
Right.
it's now
Yeah.
kicking in. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
you're gonna have to deal with that. That is gonna be
Right.
be dealt with. So
Right. But I'm
yeah.
saying
Mhm. Go
the
ahead, go
love
ahead.
can still be there. That's it. That's all
Yeah,
I'm saying.
most definitely in the,
Uh-huh.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
Mhm.
but
Absolutely.
the urges will still be
Right.
there for certain people. We can't sit here and talk
Mhm.
like it's in a perfect world. It's not in a perfect
Right.
world.
Right.
And that can open up, like Anthony said, cracks in the foundation. And that's where the
Mhm.
snakes come out. I
Mhm.
was always one to joke if I got deployed, I sit there and pick out who I knew would be trying to get in my
knocking
girl
on the door.
because they are. I'm sorry. You're going like, and it's not even to make it seem like that's everybody, but it's human nature. So with that being said, I take that with a grain of salt when it comes to another human being. I joked about it, but I know I would have been right about it. You would have told go check up on her. Oh, they gonna have
I'll
good
check
intentions
up.
for the
Right.
first few weeks.
Right.
And then when them urges are there, stuff happens.
Yeah. That's why my uncle used to always tell me, a little absence makes the heart fonder. Too much absence makes the heart wander. And that's just the truth of it. You know, too
Yeah.
much absence will make the heart wander. If your mate is having an absence of sex or absence of you or absence of whatever the case is, she will see it in other people, whether she wants to or not.
Right.
Whether she wants to or not, she's going to see it in other people because there's now a crack in the foundation, and she can see through it.
There's always
Right.
some joker in the wings waiting
Right.
for his turn to audition.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is
All
true.
right. So, should couples talk openly about sexual expectations?
Most definitely. Most definitely.
They even said
Is
that
she
on the
talking
video.
like from a fantasy standpoint, things that you want to do that's just exotic, different?
Yeah, let's talk about that because that's in one of my later questions. So, openly about your sexual fantasies, desires, and things of that nature. Even pornography. Put that into it. All of that. Should couples talk about these things? And how
Yeah.
do you talk about those things?
You got to be just open with each other and be an open book. If this is the person that you're going to be with for the rest of your life, but these things are still going to be courses through your brain, they're going to be courses through her brain. I think it's safer to actually explore those together. Now she's going to have some things she's going to be like, hell no. You're going to have some things you like, oh, hell no. But somehow still hear each other out and get an idea where can I meet you in the middle.
I think it falls down to ultimately communication. And if you can't communicate with your mate, your spouse, that in itself is a problem. And, we got more problems than just that. But I think that is a great way to figure out. So there's no doubt. Let's just leave all the, well, I thought, well, this, no, let's just talk about it. Put it on the table. That way, we're not saying, oh, well, I assumed that this is what you wanted, or I assumed that you were going to do this. No, let's just put it out there. Okay, these are the things that I like. These are the things you like. Okay, like Robin said, gonna be some things that you like, hey, I don't know about that. No, hey, some things are just gonna be an automatic no, and you just gotta accept that. But if y'all have enough yeses, and y'all are okay with that,
You're like, no, I want to do the no.
right? I mean, because you're communicating. That's your wife. That's your spouse. Listen, hey, that's between y'all. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey, y'all like it? I loved it. Okay.
Right.
It goes back to what Ham was saying. If you don't do that with her, who's she gonna do it with then?
Somebody gonna do
it. Yeah. Talk about it. Talk about it. Put it out there.
What happens when one partner has a higher sex drive or higher libido than you do? Or just higher sex drive, period.
Well, I think his answer was basically the answer that I would definitely give. He answered exactly how I would answer it. If mine is higher, I would expect me to be catered to a little more. If hers is higher, I'm going to cater to the higher person because we just talked about cracks, right? Cracks in the foundation. I don't want any cracks. I want to make sure that you're good.
Right.
So yeah, I feel like absolutely. Yeah, cater to the person.
Right. to the best of your ability.
To the best of your, to the best of your.
Does rejection create? I see you, Jason. Does rejection create
Yeah.
resistance? I'm sorry, resentment over
Oh.
time. So when your mate
Both.
rejects you on a constant basis,
Mhm.
or it doesn't even have to be on a constant basis, but when they're rejecting you more than they're saying yes to you, does it
Mhm.
cause you over time to resent them and maybe even start slowing down on trying to be intimate? Does it make you give up?
Mhm.
If the period's long enough, most definitely. And any instance like that, I was seriously trying to get in tune with her internally. What's going on? Because it could be something going on emotionally, and you just don't know. And you haven't quite, covered that area and use that as an opportunity to cover that area. Because it could be something internally going on, and now she has the time to expound, and it's not just I don't want to, I'm just not there. And
I think that's the perfect answer. I don't think anybody can answer that better than that answer you just gave.
appreciate it.
Honestly, I think that's 110%
There
it.
you go.
Yeah. Uh, I mean, if anybody want to chime in, but I think you
No,
hit the nail on
no,
the head with that
no,
one.
no.
All right. How do you protect the marriage while raising children? And we kind of touched on these throughout some of our conversations, but how do you protect the marriage while raising children? I say
Communicate.
still have sex often and still frequently take care of each other.
Mm.
I
So
think
you mean sexually?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He didn't
So
clarify.
yeah, well, I mean, the whole topic is built around sex. So
Okay.
just put your
Just
mindset in the
assume.
sex mode regardless in every question.
okay.
I try to be spontaneous as much as I can in different instances. If we're somewhere remote
Mm.
and away from other people, that spontaneity right there, just be like, let's get in the back seat.
Mhm.
That spark right there, it does a lot.
Mhm.
It gets you both your adrenaline's going and all that. It's something different.
Mhm.
At least for the present, because back in the day, yeah, remember my dad, Anthony, was like, my back seat was my hotel mini at night.
I remember him saying that, but he wasn't lying.
I
I
can
mean,
see
that's
it.
just how it was.
I
You
can-
know what I'm saying?
That
That's
is
just how it
right.
is.
Yeah, as you we used to
Hotel
do it.
de ants.
Right. Definitely. The way these old bones set up now, though, right. I'm crusty. I'm
Yeah,
shoot all the way back. I can't even.
yeah.
Is exhaustion the biggest enemy of passion? Is exhaustion the biggest enemy of passion? You're at work all day, come
Right.
home, and your wife is ready to have sex, and you're not, because you're dog tired. You've been busting
Mhm.
your tail. The white man been all on you, or whoever man been all on you. You know, and you're mentally spent and physically spent.
Mhm.
Okay. Even
Right.
emotionally spent, because you know how it is out here in this world,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
to the point where you come home and you're like emotionally drained, mentally drained, and physically drained. And and being exhausted like that, and it happens to a lot of people. Look at these wives that are mothers too, that have to go out here and work their behind off, then come home and do the majority of the
Mhm.
housekeeping and taking care of the kids and all that stuff. Then when the man gets home, and if it's this type of situation where the man wants sex and she's been dealing with all this stuff all day long, she may not be
Mhm.
in the mood for that.
Right.
You know,
You ask me, that's been man's
is
setback, at
that the
least in the
biggest?
past. I think us new school Negroes have woken up and understand. It depends on my mother taught me and my brother how to wash our clothes and do certain things in like elementary. At that
Mhm.
point, she was like, you know what? Y'all can do that. And I'm gonna teach you how to do it. It's those little things that'll make a woman that gets with a guy who has that training already, especially from another woman. She's gonna appreciate it that much more, and she's gonna see it. Um, Trust me, I know a lot of guys that ain't your traditional, not like us. I'll put it that way. They're shocked to hear on any given day. What you doing right now? I'm cooking dinner for everybody. And that was odd to them when I was first saying things like
I
that.
just finished.
Yeah, they hit me up and I just got through vacuum and cleaning up the bathroom and this, that, and the other. And they sound astonished.
Right.
Those are the things you need to add balance to your marriage, because it ain't that damn time anymore where the woman is gonna go out there, make bread, and then come home and bake it too. Yeah, that balance. I think if you're in tune with her, man, that you can negate all of that, because it's all gonna come down to it being expounded upon, possibly.
But see, that's not going to erase the exhaustion. That's not going
Exhaustion.
to erase the
No,
exhaustion.
it's not gonna
man.
go away. But if you've talked about it and there's an understanding, because first thing I ask my wife when she come in from days where, how was your day? So that's the time to expound on, and if already the conversation is already leading up to how exhausted it was, say
Leave
less.
it alone.
And maybe that's one of them nights I'm gonna rub your feet. I'm
You
gonna
gonna
do
rub
just
some?
yeah. One way or another.
Goes the point.
But no, seriously, you take those opportunities then just to do something nice, especially she wore heels that day. 9 times out of 10 her feet hurt. So just take the liberty of doing something nice for her that doesn't cause for that. And that's really like foreplay, if you ask me, because it's leading up to when you do it. Now she gonna owe you all kinds of somethings.
I think that's a good way to look at it. Is it's to do something like that if your mate is exhausted, or you notice that they're not in that place. Do something like Robin just said. You rub the feet or give them a massage on the neck or whatever the case is, and but don't do it in the anticipation for the next thing.
Right.
Do it just to relax them. And then maybe something may turn around and come out of it. Like the woman said on the video, I'm not hungry, but you set that piece of cake next to me. I'm going to take a bite. Hey, this cake is good. Let me go ahead and finish the rest of the cake. So, yeah, I do agree with that. Anybody else?
Well, I mean, I was just gonna say, just based on my personal experience, just like what you said, Robin, you was like in my head when it came to doing things for your spouse, right? And I think it still comes down to communication. Why are you exhausted? Let's talk about, why are you exhausted? Why do you feel? Because it's really the person. I can't say, well, you're exhausted because of this. You tell me why you feel exhausted, and how can I help you not feel exhausted, or can I take some things off your plate? What do you need from me? What can I do to help you? And then if it's, hey, can you grab your kids this time? Hey, I really want to cook us a meal, but I'm so tired because of this. Okay, fine. I'll get it. I'll either cook the meal or I'll go out and get it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
Hunter gatherer.
yeah. Hunter gatherer. Hey, we'll do something. If it's, you know what, I really have been working more hours and I would like to not work as many hours. Okay, I'll pick up some more hours. That way you bring it down.
And you telling her that you're listening to her.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That way now you're helping, you're actually communicating, and you are taking care of the need. It's not assuming. Again, there's that word. Again. We're not going to assume. Take care of the need. Hey, what is it? What is it? What, they're wearing me out at work. I've heard that a lot from my wife. And let me tell you, whenever she said that, I would just say, hey, how much leave you got? And leave is like days off, time off. I'll say, give yourself a little mini staycation. Come home.
Yeah.
Just take some time off. She was like, man, I do got all this leave. I do got all this time. Yeah, just take a week. just take me, just get away from him. And then we use that as an opportunity to recharge, and the kids are gone, so we can just go out and have breakfast and do all these things and not worry about it. So, and that'll help with the exhaustion. And then during that time, we talk about it, and I'll say, hey, okay, what what do you need? And bruh, it's been plenty of times where my wife has came and said, hey, I'm tired. And when they're tired, they ain't gonna want to do too much.
Right.
They ain't gonna want to do too much. Like, you ain't getting nothing out of it. So I've learned to just kind of feel the need and
Right.
just kind of, hey, what do you need? So yeah.
That's
And
one of the number one things with women, to tell you the truth, though.
Yeah.
They want you to understand, even if they're not verbally telling you, you're my person. You should know.
Sure.
And really, I'm
Right.
keep living, keep staying married, and you'll get that idea eventually. You should know me.
Right.
Some things I don't have to say. And for the most part, I would say it's true. And vice versa. There's certain things I don't have to say with her. She can tell the change in my demeanor.
But you know what? Every marriage is not like that, because every person is not mentally attentive enough to be able to
Right.
catch all the little things and
little-
stuff, the little
the
nuances, the little
nuances.
signs and stuff. So you do have to have open communication. The person has to let you know, and you have to ask. And so you have to ask questions. They have to be open and honest enough to let you know how they're feeling and what's really going on and all that good stuff. So you all are able to correct that issue. And even if you are a selfish man, this can still work out for you. This premise that Robin just expounded upon and Mike expounded upon, it can still work for you, because look at it in a selfish way. All of that turns around just to get you more sex. So do what you got to do for her, because it's going to pay off for you. So
Yeah.
there you go.
But didn't you just say you shouldn't do that expecting something, sir?
Yeah. But if
Am
you
I the
are a
devil's
selfish
advocate here?
man, no, if you are a selfish man, I prefaced it.
Okay.
If you are
Okay.
a selfish man, it can work out for you.
All
What
right.
you're doing is you're playing the long game,
Right.
You're leaving the
Exactly.
role.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You
Right.
setting up a
Yeah.
future favor. I just did you a favor for a future favor.
Right. But don't
I'm
say
just-
that part. Just
Hey,
do
you
it.
gotta be done. Some things you think,
You just keep that in the little book
Right.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, that
That's-
stays in the
Yeah.
That's
cloud.
for the barbershop. That's for Beyond
Right.
the Barbershop. That ain't for telling her about.
Yeah,
Right.
you can't put on a game out there, man. You can't
There
put on
you
a
go.
game.
Do couples stop prioritizing each other, or just get overwhelmed sexually when it comes to sex, it comes to intimacy? Do couples stop prioritizing each other and start prioritizing other things and other people, or are they just overwhelmed? This kind of sort of the same premise of the previous question about a person just being overwhelmed or being exhausted.
So
But
you're
yeah.
asking if they are thinking about other things, and they're thinking about other things in such a way that it's overwhelming them to the point where they don't even want to have sex. Is that basically what you're asking?
No, I'm saying, do couples stop prioritizing each other? So basically they stop saying, okay, well, I'm gonna make sure my husband is okay. I want to make sure my husband gets his sex, or make sure my
Right.
wife gets the sex that they need. Or are they just overwhelmed with so much stuff like we were talking about
Okay.
that they kind of just forget about it?
Okay.
They don't, is it a prioritizing thing, or is it just I'm just got so much going on that I've forgotten to take care of it? Or am I purposely, just focusing on other things?
It all depends on the person. The person might not be really prioritizing anything else. They're just, like you said, in whatever project they're doing, whatever, and they're locked in to the point where they're not thinking about it at that
Mhm.
moment. Like I'm thinking about, the first thing coming to my mind is a boxer or a fighter. They go into what's called camp, prep for a fight. When they prep for a fight, it's basically they gotta eat right, they gotta do this. It's like long days, training days for weeks, and then a lot of them, a lot of them don't have sex during that time,
Right.
you know.
Got to
And
keep their legs strong.
right, for their legs. And I've actually heard them say this. I'm doing this, so when I get in there and then I get to fight this guy, I'm like, listen,
I'm
man,
back.
I'm mad because I ain't had sex.
Yeah, I
I
ain't
ain't did
right.
nothing. I ain't did
Yeah.
nothing with my wife. So I'm
Yeah.
about to take it out on you. So
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
It's funny you say that because that's real. If you ain't had that for a while,
yeah.
other people
Yeah.
feel it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Every little thing will piss you off.
yeah.
Every little thing.
Right.
Bruh. So I think it really depends on the person. Now you do have them ones. You do have the ones that's just it's on purpose. It's on purpose.
Mm.
I'm doing this because they don't want to engage. So they're trying to use that as an excuse not to engage. That's what they're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
And so when you have that, now, okay, why are we not, doing this? Now you have to ask questions. But if you know the person and they're just like, oh, like the first person we talk, oh, babe, I'm just so caught up in this project right now. Hey, I got you. I'm sorry. You can tell right away if it's that way, or if it's, well, I'm doing this and doing this. I don't know. What do you want me to do? Blah, blah. That's a different conversation. It's a different energy.
Yeah.
So I think it all depends on your mate. I think it
Yeah.
really depends on them and their mindset, guys.
Mhm. I agree. Couldn't have said it better.
Is it harder for men or women to express dissatisfaction sexually? You have sex with your person and they're not satisfied with it. They didn't like it or it didn't meet the need. Is it harder for a man to express that to a woman, or is it harder for a woman? Do you think it's harder for a woman to express that to a man?
I think it's harder for a man to do it, but maybe it's because I'm a man. But the women are more emotional than men are raised to be. So if you tell them, that wasn't it, they like, well, fine, and they'll never do it again. Like I just said, hey, no, come on back. But I feel like they, more emotion is involved in a man. And so, but then again, on the same thing, we emotional too. We just
What do you want to hear that they deep as trash?
Right.
We ain't trying to hear that.
Exactly. See if it come up again.
I think it's easier based on what I've seen in my lifetime and just observing the world. I think it's easier for women to say it to men or at least it's more common for women to say it to men, to say, that D was trash, or that, whatever.
Yeah.
You could have came better than that, or whatever.
They not together.
A man, yeah. Or a
That's just
man.
that.
Because honestly, those type of things, majority of the time, is going to come in a single relationship. It's not going to come in a relationship.
Right.
But this isn't. And for this particular question, let's just talk about men and women in general, not just a married couple. I think it's easier for a woman to say it than for a man to say it, for the very reason that I think it was Jason that just said how if a man says it, or whoever said it, if a man says it to a woman, now you have the fear of being cut off. Now you can't get it no more. When a man gonna always give it, regardless of whether you said it's trash or not. But a woman, at least most men, but a woman, or at least a man, when we say that, or when we think about telling a woman that the sex wasn't good, or giving them some type of critique. We might be wanting to tell them, hey, because maybe your wife wasn't, or your person, or whatever person you're with wasn't a sexual person when they were growing up. Maybe they didn't have a lot of sex growing up.
Right.
So now
Right.
that you're with that person and you're older now, and they're doing things sexually like a child, or in a sense, you know, they're not experienced. And so
You know what he
you
meant.
now,
Right.
you know,
Right.
Tab,
You know what he
I'm
meant.
editing that out.
So
Right.
we just
I'm
gonna say
editing
that
all
right
of that
now.
out.
You know what he meant.
You know exactly what the hell I meant, y'all.
You know what he meant.
Right. Right.
But you're doing things like a novice, and you need,
Yeah.
but you're a you know, you're used to having sex and you're used to doing things. So basically, how do you do that?
If it's a person that you really vetting though, and you in tune with her feelings, or you're getting there, keep her on the main line and tell her what you want. A closed mouth don't get fed, seriously.
Right.
And vice versa. Anything that you're lacking in, or that she wants to see perform better or has better tips, because after all, it's her body, and she can better tell you how you can better please her. Listen to her. It's not a diss to you. That's educational for you.
Right.
Because even if y'all don't make it, she just taught you how to do something a little bit better to please a
Do
woman.
you think you could tell a woman that?
It depends on the woman, though.
Choose your words very wisely.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Very,
And
very wise.
very wisely. Yeah. Not to demean, not to,
Yeah.
but yeah, you know, it's just for the good of your couple. You know what I'm saying? Just
You got
Yeah.
to
good of
so
your
so you got to do extra stuff just to make it comfortable. You got to buy roses and sit
Yes.
down and have
whatever you got to
ain't
do.
it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you
Yes.
do.
It will be better. Start go buy a hot meal.
I
Yes.
agree.
Get to cook this dinner, and
Yes.
here's your plate. And here's mine. All right,
Yeah.
let's sit and talk a little bit.
Yeah.
How was
Right.
your day? You know what I'm saying? So on and so forth.
Right.
You don't want to mess up.
Right.
Eat with your
All
chew
right.
with your mouth closed. Put a napkin
Right.
in your nap. All that good stuff.
Right. But yes, you have to make that person feel comfortable so that
Yeah.
they don't close off. You know what I'm saying? And if that's what it takes for them to feel comfortable and feel safe, then that's what you got to do. Because, like you said, it's for the betterment of the relationship. You know,
Yeah.
if you can't be vulnerable and bear your concerns with that person, then who can you do it with? You know,
Exactly.
what are you doing? So, yeah, if that's what it takes, do it. It'll help you out in the long run.
How do married men manage temptation? How do married men manage temptation? I know Mike's favorite phrase is that's, or I don't know if it's Mike or Jason. One of y'all favorite phrases, it depends on the person. And that's kind of true in this sense.
It
But
depends on, yeah,
yeah,
I think that's probably me. It really depends on the person.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
actually, it's both of y'all.
right.
But
But
yeah,
for me, and this is just for Jason, it helps because I see them, they out there and they be lurking, but it ain't worth it in my mind. It's not worth it. You know, like even if, you know, a night of fun, now you stressed out, they got that over you. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell your wife, or, you know, here are my demands now. You know, like,
Or even worse.
right. Or worse, you bringing
You-
something back with you. You
or
know,
one way or another.
baby. Or
Yeah.
yeah. It's not worth it. And I rather, you know, my wife is good. Okay. We Gucci. We got
You
all
gonna
the
spend-
history. Like the new person don't have the history. They don't have know all the ins and outs and stuff.
Yeah.
And truth be told, whatever relationship you get in, there's gonna always be problems. I don't care who it is. There's gonna be a new
Yeah.
set of problems. I'd rather stay with the one I got, you know?
Yeah.
Then.
Do with the one you know and the one that you got. I'm
I was
sorry.
just going to say that we know that the majority of the time, it's not about being with that person. It's just
Right.
about having that
It's
sexual
just for that.
experience right then
Yeah.
and there, and then we're done with it.
But it
So
ain't never done. It ain't
there
never
you go.
done,
You,
though.
There you
you
go.
got to know
There
the
you go.
importance. And
Yeah.
I mean, and I know you guys. I know the past yous. I know the yous now. No, temptation is always
Yeah.
out there.
Right.
I took my wife to the Usher concert, and I kept getting, jokes from the guys about, man, Usher, yeah, coming up with the cherries.
Right,
I was
right,
like,
right.
y'all gonna hear
Right.
about Usher Raymond passing away soon.
Right.
Uh,
You won't know, Usher.
no, seriously,
Right.
range. I had to walk with blinders on the entire, and she knew it. It made her uncomfortable.
Mm.
I had to.
Right.
It was the women outnumbered the men up in there. I would
Right.
say 45 to 5.
Mm.
It wasn't nothing but ladies up in there. And when you're in that, we still men at the end of the day too. So you gonna have to catch yourself with not looking at that booty too long, or
Too
catch it.
long.
Chicks like to play those games like that as well too, man. Where they'll sit there. I'm not gonna call it what we used to call it, but he'll
Right.
edit it.
Right.
It's real.
Should
I
a
ain't blind
wife
or stupid.
should a wife expect their husband not to look?
I
I
think that
depends on the person.
well, I think that reasonably. You know what I'm saying?
Right back.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
It's
You can't be sitting up there, you know what I'm saying? It was
Talking.
like on
You
life,
disrespectful. Yeah.
like on life,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
dog.
saying?
Right.
You remember in life when like the girl got,
Like
you know, older and he was just looking, he was like, I don't know.
Right. You're right.
But he said, so you act like you about to run over there?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but hey, you know, you just got to know that, yeah, we are people. I think if your wife understands, you just got to know your wife. And you got to know how you are to conduct yourself. Because, okay, if you glance every now and then, if you do this, all right. But
It can't be every now and then.
but don't be like following. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Don't be acting
Right.
like
Get your look in and take a photographic memory picture and be done with it.
Right.
This is where
You got
I'm
to
at.
see that
At
thing
one
way
point,
down.
yeah. No, at one point we were mature enough to understand, and I'm not no fool. I'm a good looking dude, and there's a lot of good looking dudes out here in the world. I caught her looking at, checking out some of the competition. And the younger me was very offended, and I didn't know how to act with it. I got very outlandish with it, and just, I went out and stump. But knowing me, I very much like the same type of attention, and I don't miss attractive females going past me. I'm at the point where if I see her do it, it just doesn't need to be any gawking. And no homo at all. I'm the most heterosexual male you're ever going to meet. I know a good looking dude when I see him coming. He's walking, and he has all of those characteristics that a person like myself has, and you gentlemen have. 9 times out of 10, she's gonna catch a little peek. I'm cool with that. All I ask is the same grace.
Right.
I ain't gonna lie, and she gonna keep my behind for this, and I don't care. We went on vacation and took a little small vacation to Wisconsin Dells. We're in a Walmart. And it was this African American female that walked past us, and that thing she was very juvenile-ish.
Singing.
Very, very juvenile-ish. She saw me look at it and was like, did you get a good enough look? And I tried to play what you're talking about. And I really should have did, fellas, is this.
Yes,
You
I
saw
did.
it. You saw it.
Right.
I saw it too.
Yep.
You look just like I did.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, I'm not going to go ask for her number. I don't care
Right.
anything about her. I saw that. I appreciate it for the 5 seconds I saw it. Now I'm going to live the rest of my life with you.
Right. Hey, look at that. Look at what she got on. How dare she?
That's how you used to play it on.
wrong with the
Man,
world
right.
right now?
I
Get on
did that
there.
for probably like the first 10 years. I did the whole, look at
And
what
your
she
wife
got
ain't no
on.
fool.
That
Your wife ain't no
that
fool.
looks ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah, but
Ain't no
yeah, she knows I'm looking, but that's all it is. See, she knows her husband. She knows that I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna and yeah, I might like it and think it's nice and all of that. But then
I might touch
I'm
it.
gonna
No, no.
but no, she knows that I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna admire it, and I'm moving on.
Right.
Right.
I love it.
No, the
That's
kids
so funny, man.
get your glance and go.
Bro, let me tell you, when
Mm.
I was primarily personal training
Oh.
and I'm in gyms,
Mhm.
and I'm in gyms, I'm talking about I had a full load of clients.
I bet you had a full load.
I shouldn't have said that.
Right.
But from 5 to like I'm talking all day, and that's all you see is women in there trying to better themselves, be their best selves. A lot of them don't have a whole lot on, and they running around like
Them
that.
little leggings and stuff. Oh Lord.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, everything.
Go to the gym. Go to the gym. You'll see.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Go to the
Some
gym.
gyms
So,
want to make rooms to make some of these women put more clothes in. No.
That's
Yeah,
why I'm not going
exactly.
to the gym.
exactly.
Right.
So I would see
That's
that all
crazy.
the time, and I'm sure if you was to ask my wife now, she would probably be like, yeah, I was probably concerned, and I know that he's probably looking at some of them because they're there, gorgeous women, pretty women, and so you're looking and it's like, dang, but I tell myself, listen, no, I'm in here, and I have to be a professional, because I'm in here, and a lot of them women sometimes will become my clients. So so I have to conduct myself in a certain way, to be professional in that space,
Yes, sir.
and so no, I was never gonna be caught like that. But yeah, did me and my friends, that was in the gym and stuff, kind of like look at each other,
Looking at
how
each
you
other.
kinda like look like,
Yeah.
like the guy at the front desk, the guy at the front desk.
The scrunchie.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. Like, it's crazy because I was talking to another trainer about this. You got a lot of them, and I know how old everybody is up here, right? You know what I'm saying? But it sometimes don't be the older women, it be the young women.
I'm sure.
It be the
I'm
young
sure.
women. And they think I'm young. You know what I'm saying? They're thinking I'm young. I'm like, no, until I start talking about my kids.
Right.
Then they're like, whoa, wait a minute, how old are you? But I just realized, I say, I always navigate like that as a true professional. Do I get
Right.
it? Yeah, I mean, cause they're there. Dude, you can't help it. You in a gym,
Right.
competing in,
Unless-
bodybuilding, bikini.
Run. Right.
Unless you Stevie Wonder, you ain't
Yeah.
missing what's
Right.
going on out here in the world, like for real. And as long as y'all live, you're gonna continue on both sides to see attractive people.
Robert, I told one dude he was up there looking at this one girl, and I was like, all right, dude, you know what I'm saying? His wife could cook. I was like, all right, dude, you're gonna be going down eating hot dogs and dino nuggies, you know what I'm saying? Messing with things like chick over here. You know what I'm saying? You over here eating good over here.
Right.
You gonna mess around with her. She don't know how to cook, she don't gotta do
Exactly.
And some girls, when they're trading off that youth and the looks and the energy and the vibe, think about what you really trade.
That part.
Never trade my wife for that mess.
Because I've heard those stories in the past that said, you gentlemen, the truth. A lot of those stories where they got with her, they was ecstatic. Didn't wait, no, we doing it every night. I got me some of that Niagara.
Niagara.
We gonna get busy.
Right.
And within 3 to 6 months, they tired.
That's
She don't
smart.
do nothing. And I asked her to go grocery shopping. She went about now laters and some fitness chips.
Right.
She don't do nothing. She don't cook. Yeah, she don't clean. She just
don't.
and she barely at home.
Right.
Now,
They
see,
don't
Mike,
stop going to the club.
Right.
now see, Mike, in your job or in fitness field, so how much harder would it be if your sex life and your marriage wasn't right to stave off that temptation? Do you think it would be a lot harder if the sex life wasn't right and the love life wasn't right?
Yes, because and I'm just being real, because that's the reason why you got to be right with God. You know, you got to go in there and say, "Oh Lord, you know me, you know me." But yeah, that's why you have to be right, because I'm telling you, there are women in there who, y'all know this. Some of y'all know this better than me. There are women in there who see you as potential, see you and really is looking for a way to jump in there and jump in the gap and
You're
be
gold. You're
their
a whole gold.
yeah. They're up
You
there
already
trying
got it
to go
together. You're established. You're not
right.
trying to figure out what you're gonna do in life.
Yeah,
You're doing it.
yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of them, and like I said, it be the younger ones. A lot of times they're like, okay, I see that. I see resources. I see a person who can do some things, and they're talking to you. So you have to know like, hey, no, none of y'all worth who I got. I'm saying
Right.
none of y'all worth who I got, and I'm not even going to go there. So you can have that over me. Oh, guess what you did? Blah blah. No, conscience is clear, baby. Conscience is clear.
Right.
Conscience is clear. I can walk in any room. Like,
Yeah.
nope.
It
Nope.
ain't worth it.
Yeah, it ain't worth it. But yes, I see many a guy fall.
Yeah.
Many of
And
them
he
fail.
ready.
That
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
that are in the fitness game. Yeah, a lot of them, they end up divorcing their wives, and then they end up with somebody that was in the gym or their old client or something like that. Yeah.
Sleeping on the
It's
air mattress.
yeah. I know.
Somebody
Now,
ain't gonna even
right.
pick up your cholesterol medicine.
Right. Now instead of real macaroni and cheese, they up there eating that Velveeta mac and cheese,
Right.
the little box stuff now.
The small box.
Yeah.
Straight box.
You know,
Yeah, bro.
rectangular, bro.
Yeah. Got the little dino nuggies now, I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
Shoot, you guys, y'all, but
I don't feel jealous of these young jokers. I do not feel jealous of them, man. I'm not saying it's
Especially
the
now.
majority of the females, but what we're seeing on social media and sometimes up close, man, it's disgusting on where they see things are at. But I don't fault them for it. It's all about your
We're
upbringing.
gonna talk about that too.
Oh
We're
yeah,
gonna do a whole show on that. Yeah.
and I don't know. I feel bad for my kids, but I know my kids, and I know what kind of people that they are. All I'm hope is that they find their person for real.
woo.
Yeah.
Boy,
Yeah. One last question for you guys. Is discipline part of sexual maturity? Is discipline
Yes.
part of sexual maturity?
It goes back to what we just talked about.
What we were just talking about, exactly.
Because that's how you don't do what you ain't supposed to do, even though it's all good for the doing at that moment. That's what it seems.
She was with it. Right.
don't do. I mean, because you know the consequences. You know what you have to lose, and especially if you have a whole lot to lose. I mean, just don't do it. Like, especially the further in life you go, now you done built up to a certain point,
Right.
and all for what? All for one night? All for
Right.
something
Right.
that your wife has the same thing. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, come on now, So we got to think. What is it that we have to lose?
Right.
And that's where the discipline comes
Yeah.
from. I'm not gonna be caught up in the same room with you. At the same time,
Take
like,
yourself out of those situations.
right.
Right.
Keep yourself out of those situations. Like, I was like for instance, I was telling my wife, I said, yeah, I think I'm gonna start a Bible study. I said, and at first I was gonna have it open, and at my church we have what's called life groups. So I was gonna start a life group. Yeah, small circles. Yeah. So what I was gonna do was say, okay, I'm gonna start a life group, and I was gonna have it open to everybody. But then I was like, well, it'll be small. I don't ever want to be caught up in a situation where it's just me and another
her.
woman in there,
Mhm.
something like that. You know,
Right.
I don't ever want to do that. So I said
Yeah.
it's either gonna be if I'm gonna have women in there, then she's gonna be involved,
Yeah.
you know, which
Yeah.
she could be, like a co-teacher in there, and we could do
But
it
we're
for
gonna have to do it
couples
virtually.
or
Mhm.
or virtually. But for the most part, if I'm gonna have it sitting down, hey, it's gonna be a bunch of men. Hey, you know what I'm saying? It's
Mhm.
gonna
Yeah,
be a men's group. It's gonna be a men's
that's
group.
that's being in tune with her needs again.
Mhm.
Understanding what's not
And you're
gonna,
wrong.
yeah, well, not even a part of being wrong, because some men could
I
be
said, and
naive
your
enough.
own.
Oh, my bad, my bad.
Yeah.
My
Mhm.
apologies.
No,
Some
yeah.
men could be naive enough to believe that she would understand that I'm not on anything nefarious. But at the
Mhm.
same time, just imagine her doing the same thing and put yourself in her shoes. It's not going to make you sit well with, the same situation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just not gonna
Yeah.
get caught up in any of that. And let's say
Mhm.
if I'm doing a coaching session with someone one-on-one, it would not be with just a female. And if it is a coaching session with a female, it'll be open. It'll be in a
Mhm.
place where it's like open, you
Everybody
know,
should see.
where
Mhm.
where it's public, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah, and I ain't gonna be so that way you don't open the door for things. You
Mhm.
don't
Yeah.
open the door for things and let things come in, and then something is said, and then all of a sudden, then it gets the way that it don't need to. You know?
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. So it sounds like with temptation, it seems like one of the best things is just to not put yourself in the position to be able
Mhm.
to be tempted. And then when you
Mhm.
are, like we said, we have to learn discipline.
Mhm.
You have to have discipline, and then you also have to think about what you're going to lose.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Think about what you're going to lose. And I think if the average married man that's been with their wife for any length of time, when they think about what they're going to lose, that will be enough to turn them around.
Mhm.
Um, as long as they're in a loving marriage and a successful marriage, and there's no
Mhm.
cracks, then
Right.
I think that is enough to turn any loving married man around.
I like how you
Mhm.
back there, because when you made that statement earlier, it really resonates. Because we got to be real, gentlemen. It ain't gonna be all peaches and cream. It ain't
Right.
gonna be all milk and honey. It's gonna be times you can't stand her, and it's gonna be times she can't stand you. I would hope that wouldn't be the case.
Right.
But when it is, it really will test your faith when it comes to that point. Because it,
Mhm.
it really is that simple, fellas. I look, if you're not saying the things to her or listening to the things that she's saying to you that matter to her, somebody else is gonna listen. And it works the same way with you. You'll find yourself in places of church, places that you wouldn't
Mhm.
even think that,
Right.
and it could be a female that's hearing everything you're saying. And it could be a
Mhm.
very honest relationship, and everything was innocent. At the end of the day, you gotta remind yourself we all are human beings
Mhm.
that have feelings, and sometimes those feelings get mixed. Mhm.
Yep.
You just throwing it out there because it's always a possibility. I don't want it to sound like, oh, it'd never be that way. Want
Right.
some of the gentlemen that need to hear that,
It
that's
could be
probably going through
anyone.
that right now.
That's- All it
No,
takes
to
is
have
for
that
the stars to
understanding.
align. It can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any
So,
of these scenarios can happen to anybody at any time. And so like we said,
Yeah.
you really have to focus yourself. You really have to think about your mate at all times, think about their feelings and think about
mhm.
your future, what
Mhm.
and the value of what you actually have. A lot of us, we don't spend time thinking and really evaluating what we really have.
Mhm.
If you take some time to evaluate who you are really with and what you really have and what they mean in your life, I think we'll be okay.
Mhm.
Yep.
Well, that pretty much wraps it up, fellas.
Every loss is tragic, And every life attached or affected by that tragedy deserves respect. But if we're serious about preventing future tragedy, we have to stop arguing about the moment. We have to examine the mindset because teaching our sons how to manage emotion may be the most important protection we ever give them. My name is Anthony, and this is Beyond the Barbershop. Thank you for going with us.